Greetings and welcome to Faces Behind the Business. My name is Glenn Garnes and I'm your host. And on this segment, we talk with business owners, not just about their businesses, but about who they are as business owners. And today I'm joined by Sharon Smith of C-Suite Results. Sharon is an executive coach with a slightly different slant than what you might be thinking. Sharon works with people who are experiencing the trappings of success, but not enjoying what they're doing to achieve. She helps them to harmonize the results that they're getting, improve the results that they're getting, and also enjoy what they do to get the results. So Sharon, I want to welcome you to Faces Behind the Business.
Thanks, Glenn. I'm so glad to be here.
Well, the first question I have for you is, where were you 15 years ago when I needed you?
I was in the same place. I was trying to figure out why I wasn't happy as a successful or quote-unquote successful consultant traveling the globe, first-class tickets, seeing really great places, getting paid very well, and not happy. I was in the same place.
It's amazing how you can achieve even when you're not enjoying what you're doing.
It is, and it's amazing how much more you can achieve when you are enjoying what you're doing. And
that's the foundation of what you're doing for people, is helping them to reach that next level, that peak performance level, by really enjoying what they do to make a living.
Yeah, life's too short to not enjoy what you're doing, and if you're just doing it for the money, at some point, I think most people are going to say, why am I doing this? And that is where I am able to come in and help them clarify the direction and align, like you said, or harmonize what they're doing with why they're doing it, or figure out what they should be doing. I completely went from something very different to what I'm doing now because this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and now I get to enjoy it.
Now, you started off in IT, information technology. Yeah. How does what you learned through the IT experience translate into making you an effective executive coach today?
It's a great, really great question. Actually, people ask me that all the time. And it's as simple as what I did in IT was looking for the gaps in process, the gap in technology, the security pieces that were missing. I really did information security more than just technology, looking for why things might not be secure and how to fix it. And now, instead of looking at it from an IT perspective or security perspective in the gaps, I look at gaps in why people aren't happy, why teams aren't performing well, and help fill the gaps by new processes, new attitudes, different mindsets, new culture.
So you're able to analyze a situation, create a process to enhance it, and as a result of that, fill the gap in the process.
I work with my clients to understand what it is that's going on. And yes, look at what's going on and work with them and possibly their team, if that is what they choose for me to do, and me just be with them and find the gap. And then, yes, provide solutions.
Well, we're going to talk a little bit about team in a minute, but I want to start with how you made the decision for yourself to focus on C-level executives.
Have you ever heard the old Chinese proverb, fish rots from the head?
Yeah, and especially after you shared that with me, I was reminded of having heard that previously.
And in my 10 plus years of traveling and seeing lots of different organizations, which was a blessing because I wasn't just in one company seeing it done one way, I was seeing a systemic issue. I was seeing a lot of people that were just hanging in there from company to company to company, and a lot of dissatisfaction. And what I realized was that's culture, and where does culture really come from? It comes from the top. It comes from the leadership team, whether they built it on purpose or whether it just happened over time. Not all culture happens on purpose. Some of it just happens over time, and then no one really stops to think about where it came from. And by working with the leadership team to examine that, to examine the organization, to examine the culture and the mindset and the attitudes, we can then start to make change so that what does come out of that team and what does come down isn't rotting. It's something much, much different.
So being the solution-oriented type of person that you are, and being able to come in from the outside looking in, you're able to see things that someone that's been too close to the issues might be missing.
Have you ever heard, or probably haven't, this one's more not a Chinese proverb, that you can't examine your own eyeball without a mirror?
Ooh, that's a good point.
There's no way to look in that eye without looking in a mirror. Well, I get to be the mirror. I get to see something that you cannot see for yourself because you cannot, you're too close to it.
That's a fantastic way, literally, to look at it. Now, you've also written a book for C-suite executives, or possibly for aspiring C-suite executives. Tell me a little bit about the book.
Sure. The Corporate Detox is the title, and that comes from, again, years of being in environments that after a while, it just felt toxic. I even got to a point after spending 2+ years with a client that I knew something was wrong because I didn't even like myself when I walked in the door. I could feel an actual physiological change when I got there. and the way I responded to people was not the way I normally respond to people. And over time, I realized that there was a toxicity that can happen within an organization, which is made up of human organisms, which can become toxic. And the Corporate Detox came from that, and the idea is to provide some tactical ways to look at things differently to remove some of that toxicity.
Well, I have to confess, it took me a little while to pick up your book and read it, not because I had no desire to, but because other people in my office snatched it off my desk before I got to it, so I had to wait for it to make its way back. But it was filled with wisdom that would have been very helpful to me when I was first getting started in my own business. And I really think it's a valuable tool, whether you're at the C level or not, a valuable tool to set you in the right direction. Now, of course, that's just one way that people can benefit from your wisdom. Tell me about some other ways that people can interact with you and take advantage of what you have to offer.
Absolutely. I have a newsletter that's going to be available, and you can go to the website and sign up for that to get different pieces of inspiration from me and information. I have a podcast, and then I also have one-on-one coaching that I do if you want to really interact and have those conversations about what might be going on. I also work with teams. So I have team workshops that are available to do that whole team dynamic and look at creating high-performance teams. There are ways to definitely work with me individually or within a group, and then there are ways to access information that I share without working with me directly.
And I think you also mentioned when we were preparing to chat with you today that you're working on an online e-learning center where people can work at their own pace on demand. Can you tell just a little bit about that?
Absolutely. It takes the concepts from the book and takes them and goes much, much deeper. It is a self-paced modular program where the person will have access to all the information and the exercises and videos, and even access to me if they want a little bit more one-on-one help. But it is for somebody who is looking to do some personal development around leadership, someone who's really looking to go to the next step, or maybe just look at things differently, and someone who maybe just looking to do it a little bit more on their own.
Fantastic. Yeah. Now, you work with individuals, you work with teams.
Yes.
You work self-directed, and you also work where you're guiding.
Yes.
So that's a variety of different ways that people can plug in and get connected to you, plus that you've got the book as well. So tell me a little bit about where you want people to go to get connected to you. I'm assuming that your website has all the places that you are on social media, so how can people get to your website?
Absolutely, www.c-suiteresults.com. And from there, there's a resources tab. If you do /book, you'll have access to the book. The book is also available on Amazon, and there's definitely contact forms and ways to reach directly out there. LinkedIn, Facebook, all the same handle, C-Suite Results.
So you're everywhere that they need to be, and probably are. Well, Sharon, thank you for joining us on Faces Behind the Business. And I want to encourage our viewers to make sure you get connected to Sharon. She's got a lot of ways to help you achieve peak performance, and you owe it to yourself and to your team to get connected to those resources. My name is Glenn Garnes. I want to thank you for watching Faces Behind the Business.